Welcome back to the Live Fire Media Show. We're your hosts. This is Hunter Elliott of RangeHot.com. I am Kawaka47, or Dave from High Point. Let's get the show on the road.
Hey, man.
What's up, buddy?
Well, I would like to start the show out by saying I feel immense, total regret from not making NRA.
Well, and I think it's very despicable that you weren't there, and you should have been there. It was a good show. In fact, I'll go so far as to say it was a great show. And yet, where was Hunter Elliott? Nowhere to be found at the 2025 NRA-AM. Why is that, Hunter? Why weren't you there? Why couldn't you be there, Hunter?
You want to know the truth? Sometimes my absence reminds people of how great it is when I'm there.
I don't know what the hell you just said.
You don't feel the void unless the void is there. You dig? Like if I'm there, it's just, hey, it's Hunter and it's great. But when he's not there, you're like, wow, there's a void. What is it?
Sorry, Hunter. I was so busy in the High Point Firearms booth with the new products that, no, you weren't missed at all. I was too busy talking to people for 2 days of the show.
Bullshit and apple butter.
No, so side note, actually, I feel like I should keep up the serious tone as we talk about this because, you know, it just sounds way more intriguing and interesting and serious because I'm talking to you in this fashion.
Yeah, I feel like I'm watching a really bad episode of Rick and Morty, but
well, no, actually, it's all fun. Since I was the first way we debuted the High Point ARs at NRA show, I was sitting down with my buddy Tony Simon of 2A for E Diversity Shoots, and he was podcasting on the NRA Row, which was pretty damn cool. They had a whole aisle of guys just podcasting all throughout the show, and we texted earlier in the week, and he was like, "Hey man, do you want to be on with me like at 9 a.m. first thing Friday morning?" I'm like, "Dude, yeah, that'd be cool as shit." Technical difficulties aside, we ended up sitting around bullshitting for like 2 hours on the show floor. Yeah. Basically up until he had Pete Brownell at 11 a.m. So I was like, I'll stay till Pete comes on and I got to bounce, you know? And one of the things we talked about, like he name dropped our show here, this shit show of Live Fire Media Show. And we started talking about like, what are some other podcasts? They're just, well, what did he say? He said Live Fire Media on this like super serious tone, and we were like, "Oh, is that like?" He's like, "Isn't that like the gayest name ever?" And I was like, "I don't know, what is the gayest name ever?" I was like, "In fact, could we make the gayest podcast ever like an actual show title?" And he throws out a whole other podcast. The guy's name is Jocko. He's Navy SEAL, and his podcast, it's black and white. It's high contrasting black and white the whole time, and every time he speaks, it's this super serious tone.
Like
and Tony started doing that, and I was just dying laughing. I'm like, dear God, that's fucking hilarious.
I'm Batman.
And that's kind of what it is, like putting your Batman voice on. Though I think that's how Jocko actually talks, but to do the Batman voice for the entire podcast of just this stern tone the entire way through and talking to you like, look at you looking like a little wuss bag, kicking your pinky up as you're drinking because, you know, I don't know. It was funny and retarded.
Yeah.
But then to add to that, so obviously we know Tony listens to us. John Moore from Red Ball Sports, you know, the 20 round mags for the High Points. John's like, so you and Hunter from Range Hot do a podcast? I'm like, yeah. How'd you come across that? He's like, oh, on YouTube. I was like, no shit. I was like, oh, that's funny, John. I said, well, yes, we do. We've done it for like 10 episodes up to this point. I said, and if you actually listen to the stuff, I was like, I've just now started getting them on Apple Podcasts, finally. But yeah, John was like, yeah, John's just such a neat. You've met him before, haven't you?
Yeah, really smart guy, but really, really just kind of a genuine fella.
Yes,
I feel like he's got a big heart. You know, he's always been
huge heart.
Super easy to talk to, really laid back. But I could tell that the old boy's sharp as a damn tack.
Oh, extremely.
Yeah, real.
Like when you talk to him, you can tell he's thinking and listening to everything you're saying to him, like understanding your own philosophies.
Sure.
It's great. I love John because of that.
Yeah, he's super. And, you know, Candy met him at NRA. No, I'm sorry, at SHOT Show when she came.
Okay.
And you probably don't remember this, but I had to go to like the Sierra booth or something, and I wasn't filming. So Candy was sitting down at like, you know, where y'all have the front area.
Yeah.
Sitting there, and I'm like, "Hey, Dave, can I drop my camera?"
Yeah. I remember this.
So, old boy from Red Ball talked to Candy for like 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And we got done, and Candy and I were back filming. She's like, "You know, that guy was really nice, but really, really smart. And sometimes he would get to talking, and I could tell he was going to get really technical."
She's getting like lost.
Yeah, but she's like, "But super nice guy, really, really nice, just really smart."
Yeah. John's awesome.
Yeah, super nice guy.
I love John. But yeah, the fact that now we know there's two people, in fact, listening to us, you know, ramble. And that really got my mind spinning, thinking too. I was like, okay, so Tony found our show on your channel.
Okay.
I didn't think to ask John if he found it through yours or mine. Doesn't matter. I don't care.
Yeah.
He found it. And I started thinking that. I was like, you know, we obviously record and post it later. I know a bunch of my guys, my friends. What's up, baby girl?
Oh, look how cute she is.
No, it's bedtime. You're not eating muffins. No. Good night.
She is so cute.
She was at the NRA. She was at the NRA show, but you weren't.
Oh man, I ain't seen her in like 6 years.
I'll come back. I'll circle back to that. But yeah, so it got me thinking. I was like, you know, I don't listen to a whole lot of podcasts. I listen to a couple, but even when I do, I'm pulling them up on YouTube or Rumble and just listening to them as I'm working all throughout the day.
Right.
I don't actually go to I don't have a podcast app or account set up to download and listen to podcasts randomly because I just don't. And it makes me wonder what is the numbers breakdown on some of that shit, like how people are typically listening to it, you know. I don't know. I mean, I get in the truck, I'm usually listening to music, and if I'm driving, it's actually always music. Some people tell me, "Oh, listen to my audiobook." I'm like, I'm pretty content listening to music when I drive, you know.
I got
tastes.
I got Pandora on my phone.
Right.
And for those that give
Pandora XM.
I do too, but Pandora offers a pretty good military discount.
Oh, do they? That's cool.
And I'm not sponsored by Pandora or anything like that.
Yeah, we ain't sponsored by shit on
we
this
ain't
thing.
sponsored by nobody, but no,
Right.
Pandora offers a pretty good military discount. So I Pandora on my phone and I Bluetooth it to my truck or my car radio.
Right.
But you know, like I've got like Led Zeppelin radio, Slayer radio.
Yep.
You know, David Allen Co radio, and then they create the.
Right.
And so it's like listening to the radio because you know, once you like 8 or 10 songs, they get an idea of the genre.
Right.
But you're and sometimes they'll throw a curveball in there.
Yeah.
But I'm a big fan of Pandora.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I actually use XM a lot, and it's funny. I told the wife we should probably just dump XM, the actual satellite radio, and just keep the app, because there's more channels in the app. And like you said, I'll Bluetooth everything from my phone to my truck.
Right.
You know, so it's like, you know, hell, if I travel anymore, anytime I'm renting a car, I just Bluetooth my phone for the navigation and the Pandora, or I'm sorry, the XM,
Right.
and go from there. And they're tied into Pandora too, because I found some channel one time, and it basically said it was like through the app. It was like more of a Pandora channel thing. So
I love
all that. All that's just interconnected.
So look, man, I gotta know. Thank you for sending me the photos of the High Point AR.
Did I send you decent ones? Because I just sent you decent ones. Everything else I sent you was like show floor shit. Sorry.
Yeah, and so you sent me one of like the display, and then you sent.
That's what I put online. Yeah.
So yeah, so essentially what I did is I made a YouTube short using your video, using your photos. It actually got a lot of traction.
I'll be honest, dude. The feedback from everybody at the show floor was very positive about it, like really positive. I think I personally only had one guy comment and say that there were cheaper ARs out there, and I looked at him and I was like, okay. He goes, well, yours is more expensive than theirs, and I was like, dude, I don't care. We're not trying to make the cheapest AR in the market. You know, this is an upgrade from a regular high point pistol count carbine to an AR platform. Yeah, it's not
That's
the cheapest.
huge.
And when he still was like, well, but these guys are cheaper. Now I literally went, dude, I don't care. And he was like, oh, so we shouldn't talk about that in the video. And I went, no, man, this is like off camera. I was like, no, dude, because I don't care. We're not trying to make the cheapest AR. And he was like, got it, okay. So, but now, like, what was it? I think I've seen a couple people comment on the 16-inch rifle now going, it's 2025. We're still doing carbine link gas. I'm like, oh god. Like, yeah, because some fucking other YouTuber told you that mid-length gas is what should be running in 16-inch guns. It's like, shut up, people. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, is mid-length nicer? Yes. But is carbine anything wrong with it? Fuck no.
The deal is, there's people on YouTube. I'll give you a prime example.
YouTube, Instagram.
You know, when I start my gun review, pretty within the first 30 seconds, you know, I'll say something along the line of, you'll notice the detachable box magazine is out. I have locked the slide or bolt to the rear. I've ensured the chamber's empty.
Right.
So we know the gun is safe to talk about. However, still point in safe direction. And occasionally, I get people like, yeah, I'm watching YouTube video. I'm not worried about you shooting me. I don't know why you do that. And I'm like, really? You don't understand? It's common courtesy. But you also, you know, you want to build that into people. Safety. Ensure your gun, you know,
you just said that's the angle right there. Like, I personally would think, I don't want to go through all that crap every damn video, but you're absolutely right. When you've got, you know, 18-year-old kid going from Call of Duty to thinking of, you know, joining up or just buying his first gun, and he sees the videos and we're just all constantly shooting all the time, what's it really hurting? Take that little bit of time to show the gun's clear.
Right.
Like, it's not a big deal. Like, do it. What's it hurting? And
I'll tell you what it helped. A couple times my videos got flagged by somebody on YouTube, and I asked for a review. And every time so far, knock on wood, YouTube's been good to me. They've removed the flag, and I've got a little message from them that says, you know, one of the things that is keeping you in the good graces is, and I'm paraphrasing.
Sure.
This was years ago. Is the fact that you show at the beginning of the videos the gun is empty,
right?
And you still talk about it pointing in safe direction,
right?
And so, and like it says, it's obvious that you're on a controlled range. You're shooting targets at a berm. You're not doing anything stupid. And so now I'm not saying YouTube is the best platform for gun owners. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But you know, if I can do a couple little things and appease them.
Right. What's it hurting at that point?
What's it hurting? And then plus safety. I want people to, you know, if some person picks that gun up and they just reflect back to a video that I've done, they're like, wait a minute. You know, before I talk about this, let's make sure it's clear.
Right.
Safety first, man, you know, and God almighty, there's so many of those Darwin Award videos on YouTube, you know, I was watching one. I don't mean to get off on this tirade, but old boy was reviewing a shotgun.
And I think I already know what you're talking about. I think.
And he was sitting in his chair and he had it here, you know, and he was like in his bedroom and he was reviewing a shotgun.
Right.
And it was some young kid, and I don't even know what kind of, it looked like a Mossberg 500, you know, which is fine. And old boy's like, he's talking about the action, Dave, and he talks about how slick the pump is. And he racks it one time. Then he talks about the trigger, and he's going to do a demo, and he pulls the trigger.
Oh, shit.
It was hot. And it you know, boom! And he's like, you can see his face, and then like
the shock,
and then shit falls down.
Oh, God.
You know, and I'm like, well, I hope that was a one-story house.
Right.
So, right. I mean, you know, if anybody is a aspiring YouTuber or a gun reviewer or anything, or you're just handling guns,
right,
make sure they're empty. And then even when you know 1,000% that gun's empty,
even if you don't show it, just make sure even if you don't show it, just make sure you're stating it that say, yes, these guns are unloaded, you know.
Yeah, I could probably do like a little banner, all guns have been a safety check, but I like to show no mag, chambers clear, and if nothing else, it keeps me, you know, kind of in the decent graces with YouTube.
Right.
But primarily, I want people to understand when you're talking about guns.
Yeah.
And at the range, shooting, clear the damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't mean to get off on that.
No, that's cool, man. No, like I said, like the NRA show, it was everybody was cool. Everybody loved the AR from the media guys. Other manufacturers, man. I mean, I had a newer friend from Diamondback. He came up, and I didn't realize Diamondback did barrels. And he was like, "Dude, who's sourcing your stuff?" I was like, "Dude, I don't know those details." I was like, "We're not making anything right now. We're just doing final assembly on it." And he was like, "Well," he goes, "I can get really good pricing on these barrels, and we do lifetime warranty on them." I'm like, "I'll pass your info on, man. That's badass." And a couple of manufacturers came by and looked, and they were like, "Dude, this is awesome." Like, oh, it's funny. Tourist guys, a couple of tourist guys were looking at it, and I just had to screw them. Like, it had a good lull, from crowds. And I walked over as they're both like, they're carefully looking at it. And I was like, hey, guys, put that up. Get out of here. Quit looking at that. And they're like, what are you afraid you're going to steal your design? I was like, yeah, you're going to steal our AR-15 design because there's not like 100 of them in this damn place. And they started laughing.
Right.
And they were like, we probably fuck it up anyways. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are cracking on yourselves. I'm like, that's awesome. So, I mean, everybody was like in, good spirits about it. And it was cool,
And you know what the toughest part was about this whole debacle? You told me about a damn High Point AR-15 6 months ago.
No, it wasn't that long ago.
4 months ago?
Yeah, probably 4.
And it is nearly giving me a damn hernia keeping my mouth shut because I was so excited. And I shit you not, the number one reason I want to go to NRA is I'm like, Dave's been talking to me about this for 4 months. And I'm like, I see it.
And you failed to come. Both my kids were there. My wife.
I didn't know
my wife went there and looked at and got herself a concealed carry purse. Her and Eva walked around. Mason walked on the show by himself. I was like, you got my phone. And before he took off, I took him over to HK to meet a friend of mine, to Magpul to meet a friend of mine, to Arms Corps to meet a friend of mine, to Diamondback to meet a friend of mine.
Yeah, you had a lot of friends there.
No. But the point was that because I told him he can walk around on his own, therefore he now knows a face or a name in a booth. That if anything gets weird, he's got somebody he can go to.
Safe space.
To cover his ass. And I told every single one of my friends that. They're like, oh, dude, that's a smart move, So the kid knew where to go. Well, now, don't get me wrong. Now, my kids seem to think because of this, I know somebody like at every booth. I'm like, dude, no. We're talking a handful of people at a handful of companies. I'm like, I don't know that many damn people, man. And I've been doing this shit for 15 years. I'm like, I don't know that many people.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. I got to feeling poorly that Tuesday and Wednesday before the show. And I kind of snapped out of it. And
is that Southern for like ill, not feeling good, poorly?
Well, ill means mad.
Oh, okay.
So if you say, man, I'm ill, to me that means you're ill, you're mad. I didn't feel well. I didn't feel well. And then, I had a client call me about some work. And it was kind of an emergency, and I was like, "Oh, I can jump on it the first of the week."
Right.
I was thinking about going out of town this week, and I'm like, "Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I can find somebody else." And I'm like, "No, I don't want that to happen," because it was somebody that I make money with on the regular, and I didn't want them to find somebody to take my place that one Saturday or Friday, and then they're like, "Oh, I love this guy," fuck Hunter. So. It killed me, man. I mean, I really,
I said the biggest killer is the fact that how close you were to it.
Yeah.
It was driving distance. And
6 hours.
6.5.
Alexis called me pro shooter for CZ. He called me Friday night. He goes, why don't you stop by the booth today, man?
I'm not even there.
And then Sarah texted me. Mark Reddle called me. Rich called me. And I was like, I feel like shit, y'all, but trying to be an adult, got to make, work comes first.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right, dude. No, my family and stuff was there because it ended up being, this was the week of spring break for my kids. So we were in the Smoky Mountains hiking in the Smoky Mountains. And then Thursday drove into Atlanta, meet up with the crew to finish getting the booth ready. And then I worked at Friday, Saturday, and they sent me home Sunday. So I drove home. So I went in the show floor Sunday, which was fine by me.
Sure.
But tell you what, the downside of all that though, we were so busy with that rifle. I walked around one bit with Mason for maybe an hour on the show floor to look at things, and really I go on to see whatever he wanted to see. So I didn't stop by CZ and Colt, see anything there. I didn't stop by Kel-tec, which I should have. That's another story. And there's other booths like I should have stopped by to see stuff, and I didn't. I'm like, damn, man, I was right there and it was there. But I'm like, but I need to be in my booth working, the time with my kid, what he wants to see, not what I want to see,
But that was cool. He got to experience it.
Oh, dude, he absolutely loved it because he hasn't been to one since he was probably 6.
So his memory of that is
yeah, like he remembers being at it he's been to 2 before this. He remembers the second one for sure because he was a little bit older. But now the fact he can actually like grab guns, he can actually rack them.
Oh, nice.
And just basically finger fuck them all the time. He was totally into it and was like, oh, this is cool. Like even this evening we watched John Patton's TGC's gun news of NRA coverage of stuff that came out. Yeah. Mason's like, oh yeah, I saw that. I'm like, damn kid, good, because I didn't see any of it. I'm seeing it now on the internet. Like that sucks.
Yeah, I hate it for you, man. But I anyway, it is what it is. Y'all had a great, successful launch.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say launch, but debut of it at least, because the launch is.
Well, it's coming out next month, right? Well, tomorrow's
May, but yeah, it's coming out in June. But it could be, I don't know if it's going to be beginning of June, middle of June, end of June. I don't know.
I got you. Well,
we'll find out.
I'm looking forward to seeing it, man.
So am I, dude.
In the reels.
I mean, it's funny. I've got all 3 of them in the back of my truck right now, but I'm not going to go grab them because what's the point?
Wait, you have them in the back of the truck, and you didn't bring one to show on our podcast?
No, I didn't. Well, it's because it's an audio show, So yeah, what's the point?
Man, I really had. I know we haven't done one in a couple weeks, and I thought maybe Dave will mature a little bit.
I'll mature a little bit.
And here I sat, brokenhearted.
Well, since you're so concerned about me bringing something on a audio podcast because we do record it video, be it you're the videographer that like, come on, man, how clear is your picture image to mine?
This is art right here. Look how mysterious I am back here in the dark. I'm like Lord Vader.
I've got more Lord Vader than my nice red backdrop going against my wall.
Look, I'm in the blackness over here, man. I'm making a statement.
Whatever.
My video quality is poor because my wisdom is great.
Right.
Well, you have.
And a good microphone camera, which you have a good camera. You just got to hook to the computer.
I don't know how to do that.
Wonders. Oh, you're not that dumb. Don't even give me that shit. I don't believe that for a second. You don't record on film, so.
I used to.
Oh, God, stop it. So check this out. I told you I should have stopped by Kel-tec's booth, and I didn't. And I kind of feel bad because I met a guy at SHOT Show this year. He got he won one for 10 mil carbines, and we talked about getting hooked back up like a couple months later because we're both busy with stuff. And so I sold him a 10 mil carbine, extra mags, and he's planning on putting on a UTV and slaying some hogs with it on his property. I was like, that's awesome. Well, at SHOT Show, I was telling him how my KSG is literally like a Gen 1 KSG. My the magazine tube selector always comes loose. No matter how much I Loctite it, crank it down, it always comes loose. And he's like, well, dude, you can send it in, right? And we'll totally take care of it and upgrade it. I'm like, upgrade it like what? And he goes, well, you'll keep your receiver, your barrel, and your mag tubes. That's about it. I went, okay. And when I got back from NRA, it was already sitting in my office. And literally, dude, it's like a brand new gun.
Wow.
I mean, the selector's sweet. They put new
ejectors, extractors.
No. The magazine tube.
When you did this.
Well, I was thinking because the Kel-tec, because the dual tubes.
Oh.
What do you call it? Fits behind the shells. Not plunger, but
the bolt.
No, for the magazine tubes.
The follower.
Jeez, I was drawing a blank. New followers in there. Like I said, the new furniture, which is shaped differently. It's actually more like ergonomic and it didn't even looks brand new. And I just like, yeah, keep it the same color. I don't need anything crazy. They gave me the new like cheek rest on, so the polymer one over the steel shroud or the receiver cover. It's sweet, man. Like Kel-tec, like they'll take care of you.
Yeah, some people give them shit. I do a lot of reviews for Kel-tec. I got some friends that work there. What's up, Hammer? What's up, Matt?
I don't get the hate they get. They've been nothing but cool anytime I've stopped and talked.
And the stuff they got is cool. And even if you don't like a gun at Kel-tec, here's what you got to say: those boys are out there designing shit outside the box.
Yes, I love that. I think it's awesome.
If nothing else, they're making other manufacturers go,
Well, what the hell? Do you hear that? Jesus. Is that me?
What was it?
I like get like a feedback. Did you hit something on your end? I get massive feedback.
I hit this mezcal right here.
Of course you did.
I mean, it's ice water.
No, but it makes me laugh. Yeah, you thinking how much like Smith & Wesson's copied Kel-tec at this point, with the shotgun and the folding PCC. I mean, even my son, he saw their new gen folding PCC. I forget what the hell, the sub 2000 or whatever. And he was like so blown away by it. And I was kind of like, yeah, dude, it's like High Point's biggest competitor probably is that gun. I'm like, it costs a little more. I'm like, but yeah, thanks, kid. I'm glad you think it's so cool. I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, it is cool, but I was just like, damn it, kid.
Well, let's talk about guns here. I got two guns I'm reviewing.
Oh.
I'm going to show you. This one is really nice. So, no magazine.
Because there's no light shooting at you. It's really hard to see. I can just see that you're holding a 1911 of some type, but that's about it.
This is the Colt Night Commander. Oh, it's dirty. This is the Colt Night Commander. Lightweight Commander, aluminum receiver. The Cerakote black. Got a dark blue slide. And it got this, bead blasted controls.
That's cool looking. I like it.
And then 45 auto. Big hole. Not started review on this. I got it before NRA. A couple hundred rounds downrange so far. Flawless. And then here's something else pretty cool. No magazine. Ruger is doing a Talo edition CCO. Bitone in 9mm.
Oh, that looks good.
Aluminum receiver, flat trigger. This is a pretty nice little jewel here. Candy loves the shit out of this. At 9mm. I mean, she likes the 45, but she loves that little 9mm CCO. So those are the two guns that I've been currently hammering on. Got another silencer from B&T that I'm working on, and then finishing up a review on the Marlin Dark 357 Magnum.
Another bit not busting balls that you missed was Inland. Ron's got a new line of suppressors for like 223, 308, 300 black, 9mm.
He didn't have those at shop.
No. These things are slick. Like his design, it's a monocore design. So it's user serviceable, which is the kind of the crazy thing. Because how many cans are user serviceable anymore? Most of them are not.
You got a 30 caliber?
Yeah. So I was talking with him about having basically some high point guns. Well, it's funny you say high point guns. Some high point PCCs and the ARs outfitted with some cans for GunCon end of June. And he of course kind of was like went off on a tangent of thinking how we could do it. And I was like, dude, long as there's cans on the guns, I don't really give a shit. Whatever you're working on, whatever you're building, and if it's, let's just do it up, throw it on there. But I have flipped him. He was it's kind of funny. He was, I'll say fuddy. He's so into the direct thread only mount for your can to your rifle. And I was like, dude, I get it. It's the most reliable. I get it's the most accurate. I get it. It's the most consistent. I was like, but you know what? I only want a direct thread if it's on something like my bolt gun, a high precision thing. When it comes to my ARs and stuff, no, I want to attach to a muzzle device quickly. I was like, and that's what mass people really want too. And he goes, yeah, but it's not as accurate. I was like, dude, don't care. I was like, what are you talking? 1 MOA? I'm like, if you're talking about an AR, I'm like, if you're saying a 4 MOA group is going to go to 5, you know what? I kind of don't care, but it's not going to be that much of a shift anyway. So it's like, well, he found some other outfit that had some pretty cool hub mounts, more or less. And he talked to these guys, and these guys themselves, even like you, they're like, I like direct thread, but people really want quick disconnect.
Yeah.
He comes back, tells me the same thing. I'm like, yeah, dude, do you think I was talking out of my ass? Like, I know what I'm saying. People want direct thread. Doesn't matter if people want hub mounts. Yeah. Even if direct thread is better, doesn't really matter. I want to quickly swap my shit out and, or run on multiple platforms easier. Well, then Ron texts me a picture, a little cartoon of a guy eating crow. And he goes, I got to say, man, he called me right afterwards too. He goes, I got to say, I used their mount. And he goes, there wasn't a significant shift in point of aim. He goes, my accuracy's still good. He goes, all right. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to say anything to you, man. I'm not going to hate on you. I was like, my point is, if you're going to make a new product though, and it's not hub adaptable, you're messing up.
And so that's the thing with B&T. You buy a B&T can, it comes direct thread.
Right.
But that direct thread is removable, and you can add any number of adapters.
Right. That's exactly what everybody should be doing.
So you can order your B&T can, and you can change it like you want.
Right.
Or for me, I just thread it on, and I'm like, that's what I want.
Right. Right.
Well, you got my SOT. Talk to Ron. Let's do a review on maybe one of his 30 caliber cans, because I've still got that Ruger SFAR.
Well, I need to actually get you one of the AM22s first, his aluminum ones.
Okay.
Aluminum 22 cans. Yeah, I need to get you one of those, and then whenever I don't know what the lead time is on his.
That's fine.
Newer cans, but yeah, we'll get them down to you.
I've got some. I got a couple really cool little 22s with threaded barrels, so we'll make a big hoopla on that.
Nice.
And I still got the Kel-tec PM30 or CM30. The PM30, little 30 round 22 mag, CM30, 30 round pistol carbine.
Yeah.
I've got one of each from Kel-tec, and they're great hosts. So for rimfire cans.
Yeah, those are fun little things to shoot too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here's another thing I saw. I can't remember. I saw it announced before NRA or I don't remember. Hornady with shit. What was it? I wrote it down on the show note thing. 25 Creedmore.
Jeez, a Willikers.
Yeah, I saw Patton talking about it a little bit too, and I was just kind of like, I'll be the ignorant guy because I don't care. I just have 223s and 762 and 545. Just intermediate cartridges. That's my thing. So, like 25 Creedmore, I'm like, what the hell does that one do? Have you seen anything on that one?
Well, no shit, no. You know me, man. I mean,
I know you're gonna say 220 Swift. I know
220 Swift, 4570, 45 Auto. The rest of it, 308. No, I mean not really. I've been working with the 22 Arc from Range Tool.
Right.
I'm still learning it, and I like it. It's a 22-250, man.
Right.
In an AR-15 platform.
That's cool.
It's cool. It's accurate. It's fast. It's neat. I like it. So, I mean, other than that, I completely lost my train of thought.
25 Creedmore. Just more new.
I'm kind of running on empty, man. I was coming home I was gonna fucking take it. I worked a lot yesterday. I worked today, and I was gonna come home and take a nap. And the power steering pump on my '89 1-ton Ford.
That's when you called me.
It just started whining. It's fine, but like if I'm sitting still, it was hard to turn. And I'm like, I know it's going bad, and it'll take it a year before it's a problem.
Right.
But I'll fucking forget. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go to Napa. I'm going to get a power steering pump, and I'm going to get some new belts. And my buddy stopped by. He had a puller. And so I've kind of just when I got online, I ain't long been out of shower. So I'm kind of scatterbrained right now, as you know how it is.
No, I totally get it, man. I feel like I've been going 90 miles an hour, 100 different directions. Like tonight was getting home and helping kids with homework. And it's like, man, they're towards the end of the school year. They have like 4 weeks left. And the amount of volume of homework my sixth grader has, I'm just like, dude, the year's almost over. Why has he got this much homework?
So he's 11, 12?
12.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's like, why does he have this much homework? I'm like, this is kind of stupid. But Catholic school, man, they push him hard.
Does they go to Catholic school?
Yeah, both of them.
Are you Catholic?
Sort of.
Sort of.
Sort of.
I got invited to. So my vet, Dr. Insetti, is Catholic. They're Catholic. Amazing people. Right. Wonderful people. They're from New Jersey, man. And you know why they moved to North Carolina? Gun laws. He's like, no, I can't put up with this.
Right.
But he's invited me to come. They're Catholic. They do a Saturday night service, and he sings in the choir. So he's invited me to come watch him sing at church. I'm like, yeah, I'm Baptist, if anything. And so when I go to church, it's real laid back.
Right.
And we just kind of visit for a little bit. We do a little talking. The preacher's going to talk about a couple verses. We talk about that. And all right, Padre, see you. And Frank said he's like, no, we get on with it. So I was like, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna check it out one time. See what's what with what.
Yeah, it's different. I just was at Wednesday mass today because my kids, we got invited. Sarah and I did for the kids for volunteering at the school, which we were kind of like dumbfounded. Like, couldn't recall what more recently we'd volunteered for. And I think the wife remembered, but I can't remember now what the hell she said it was that we did. But I was like, oh, yeah, okay. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I was like,
my nose about to itch off. Not change subject.
But you are.
Past 3 years, fucking pollen is started by it's
breaking you down.
Me.
It's breaking you down. I think I'm actually building my resistance back up. I think the last year I lived in Charlotte, it broke me down, dude. And I couldn't see, I couldn't breathe. My dad tried thinking it was my dog that I had. He's like, "Oh, I have to get rid of that dog." I'm like, "It's not the dog." And I finally get to see a doctor, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like where you originally from?" I was like, "Ohio." "How long you been here?" Like 10 years. They're like, "Yeah, North Carolina just beat you down." I'm like, "Oh, that's great, fantastic." I come back to Dayton, it's not much better, so it's like, "Oh yeah, it's great." And so far this year, it's not been bad. I'm still popping like an Allegra every day.
Well, see, I'm not on any meds, but like today, or I say today, what's today? Wednesday. Like Friday, I fell a tree, pretty good sized pine, and like, you ever seen a cartoon where Bugs Bunny fucking takes off and his outline is still there?
Yeah.
When that pine tree fell, I'm telling you, there was an outline of it in fucking pollen.
Oh, God.
And I was like, oh, my. And then when it hit, it was like, poof. And it just hit me right in the face. And then my nose was itching.
That's like a hazmat setup, man.
And, it just it makes my nose itch, and it makes the awfulest boogers.
Yes, it's nasty.
But this is
nasty.
It hasn't. This is 3 years ago. I could be in a chamber with that shit, huffing it.
Ugh.
It's fine. But starting about 3 years ago, it makes my nostrils itch.
Yeah.
And it'll make like the back of my throat itch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm forced to come home and self-medicate.
Self-medicate. Oh my God.
But
nice. Oh yeah. So here's a cool one too from the NRA show. Well,
Okay.
I was sitting down with Tony, doing his podcast. It was kind of funny. He had some guys he knew that came up there from Jersey, and Tony's like, he and I are talking about the High Point AR, and his buddy like looks at it and he's like, quietly wording to us, "Can I pick it up?" I'm like, "Yeah, go right ahead, man." And he's like looking at it and he like sees it lists his High Point on it, and he's like, "Oh shit," he goes, "This is a High Point AR," all like quiet. And Tony and I are still talking. I look at him, I'm like going, "Yeah, it's a high point AR, and as we went on, like I said, I sat there for 2 hours with him. As it went on, more people would come by and walk up to us, and maybe Tony would break off and say hi to him, and then he'd come back and say who it was to anybody listening to the podcast. And at one point, this girl, short blonde girl, and this taller guy with a beard go walking by, and Tony and I both like do one of these like watching them, our heads pan watching them, and as they walk by, we both go, "Hey." I was like, "I know her," and Tony's like, "I know them," and then they come over. And we're like, hey, and it was like, oh shit, we're still recording or on air, or whatever. I was like, for those that are listening, I was like, Caleb from Tactical Response, and I can't remember the other guy's name. I didn't meet him, but like at dinner. But Tactical Response, James Yeager's outfit. They were walking by, and so we were bullshitting with them as we're still like podcasting. Later in the day, or maybe it was the next day, Kayla came and found me at the High Point booth, and she was like, she goes, Dave, she goes, do you think the High Point AR could handle the fighting rifle class? And I was like, well, it's an AR, so I don't see why it wouldn't. She goes, do you want to bring one and shoot it in fighting rifle? I'm like, yes, I do. That would be awesome. You know, make it as much of an event as possible. So she was like, all right, you tell me when. She goes, you pick a date, you know, on the calendar, and then text me and let me know, and we'll get everything squared away. I'm like,
where's that class at?
Camden, Tennessee, where I was just at for Paul Markle's class. So it's Western Tennessee. It's
how much is the class? Maybe I should come take that with you.
That'd be cool, man. That's kind of what I was getting at.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I'm gonna bring my little 7.5-inch BPM though.
Oh Jesus!
I'm gonna tell you what I can run the.
Are you gonna have a can on it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then that's cool then. Because if it's 7.5-inch unsuppressed, good God. Fighting rifle is $600.
Oh, that ain't bad.
No, and I think it's a 2-day class. I think.
How many rounds? 1,000, 500.
Yeah, I think they suggest like 1,000 rounds. I think. It's probably like 8. You know, 708 probably you go through.
Pay for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to scroll through all the details again on it, but you know, yeah. But I'm super stoked for that. And another friend that I bumped into, I told him about it, and he's like, "Oh, I'm an alumni of Tactical Response." He goes, "Dude, tell me the dates because I'll go too." And I was like, "Okay." So I think I'll see how much I can fill this class out. But all that being said, though, I'm not going to bother taking that class until I've got one that I've put probably a couple hundred rounds through.
Right.
And the funny thing is, like, all I'm gonna do to it is throw a light, a sling, and an optic on it. You know,
right?
I'd love to like put a better trigger thing. I mean, because it's got like a mil-spec trigger in it, which is fine. I'd love to put a better trigger in it, but the whole point being is we want to show a stock HP 15 AR going through this class. So I'll suck it up and not modify it to my own liking. No bad lever, and you know.
Oh god, that bad lever makes me nauseous.
I love those things. No bad levers, no ambi safety. You know, I'll leave it stock. Other than like I said,
you know what though, man? Something that Andrew showed me about an ambi safety. I didn't like an ambi safety on an AR until Andrew showed me something cool.
Okay.
I'm not going to go get one, but when you're running the gun,
right,
you can take your trigger finger and manipulate the safety as well as your thumb.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's easier to make your trigger finger manipulate the safety.
Yeah.
And I like that. Now, Andrew Barnes, with Barnes Precision, does an ambi safety, but his right-hand side
is shorter.
The paddle is like 2/3 the length of the left side.
Yeah. Most of the ones I run, the right side is shorter. And just like you said, like usually I'm throwing it from safe to fire with my thumb. But then from fire back to safe, I'm using my index finger.
Oh,
yeah, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I do too, man. I've got a gun sight class coming up December, and I'm taking 2 Barnes rifles. So I've got a little 7.5-inch SBR that I'm ashamed to say I haven't really taken care of it. I've probably got.
But what does that really mean? It's an AR, man. I mean.
I've probably put 5,000.
As long as the steel's not rusting, what's wrong? You know.
I mean, I've probably put 5,000 rounds through it. I haven't cleaned it,
long as it's wet, it's an AR. I don't care.
I know, but you should take. My father's like, clean your guns, boy. Shoot it 5 times, clean it. And I'm like, So I'm gonna take it to Andrews. I'm like, hey man, I want you to put a tune up on this thing before I go to gun site.
Hey, clean it for me, please.
Well, if he would, that'd be great, because I was reviewing some B&T cans, and they're flow through,
right?
And so he was shooting it. He looks up and there's black shit all over his face. He's like, I thought these cans are flow through. I'm like, yeah, they are. I'm like, that rifle's just really fucking nasty. so he opens it up like shotgun style and goes to grab the little charging handle, and it's like, and when he pulls it out, like there's pieces of carbon falling off of the carrier.
Okay, I'll give you that. That's pretty damn rough.
He's like, when's the last time you cleaned this rifle? I'm like, did you clean it before you gave it to me? Because it was a demo. He's like, well, when I gave it to you, he's like, I don't think it had 100 rounds through it. I'm like, well, I've never cleaned it. And it runs great. But I want to tune up before I go to, gun site.
Right. Yeah, that was a funny thing. Like Tony and I talked about the whole time. Talking about the base of the gun, it was kind of like, we got these 3 ARs, I think, on Wednesday.
Okay, I want you to see Sweet Pea.
Our crew flew down. Our crew flew down Thursday. I drove in Thursday, and we had the guns on the show floor Friday. Okay, we got a spec sheet emailed to us by Friday morning, but for the most part, it was kind of like, oh, what's up with these guns? I was like, you guys, it is a mil spec gun. I was like, it's not. There's no shame in saying that. I was like, and to the mass public, saying it's a mil spec gun is fine. Yes, AR aficionados will probably turn their nose and go, oh, it's just mil spec. Yeah, it's just fucking mil spec, dude. Meaning you can change everything out in this gun to make it to your liking if you want to,
or not,
or not. And that was a big thing. Tony and I pressed on. It was like, I'm a big fan of running the. I'm sure pointing to like anybody can see. I like running the Radian Raptor charging handles. I just like them. Except the fact is, Tony and I laughed about this. Whether you're on a Radian or a Geisley or a Bravo company, those are like my kind of go-to charging handles. Yeah, they're cool and all, but then when you actually throw any kit on, like you're not just in your t-shirt, you actually throw on a chest rig or a plate carrier, ambi charging handles, what do? They snag on fucking everything.
Right.
So it's like, I hate to go back and go backward and say Stoner was, a demigod with the charging handle, but he kind of was.
So here's my thoughts. Yes,
go for it.
Correct. And this is gonna be a rabbit hole that I'm not gonna go down.
Right, sure you're not.
However,
yeah, look at that.
When
cool, but is it needed? No, it's not needed.
That's kind of gay, but I mean, whatever.
Is it cool because I can easily do it one-handed? Sure, but is it needed? No,
it's gay.
It's not gay, but it's cool. It's gay. Shut up.
And this is going to sound so funny. Just FUD. I know.
Shocker. FUD.
But, when everybody, everybody's like, 1911s are unreliable. They're hard to deal with. They're unreliable. And I say, that is the equivalent to making this statement. Trucks are unreliable.
Right.
And where it boils down to is you've got somebody, Bill Wilson, that thinks they're smarter than John Browning.
Right.
They're like, I'm going to design this magazine, 47D, that does not match how John Browning designed a fucking magazine.
Right.
And so the 1911, the AR, it's a fighting tool.
Right.
And so are you going to stand at the 500-yard line and bench rest your mil-spec AR? No.
Right.
Or if you do, you're going to come in dead last. Are you gonna go and offhand in an NRA bullseye match with a box stock Colt? No.
Right.
This is a fighting fucking handgun, man.
Right. It's
so people look at this shit and they go, well, I can do it better. No, you can't. Because if you could, your name would be hailed as the greatest gun manufacturer ever, not John Browning. So anytime somebody's like, well, the 1911 is great, but you fucking shut up. You don't know. You know, how many patents do you got on fucking firearm? Well, yeah, then kiss my ass.
Right.
Shut the fuck up. How many rounds have you shot this fucking month?
That now we're talking, yeah.
And these people, like you said, well, I'll set my rifle up. You know, sorry, I'm gonna wind this up real quick like a rabbit.
Yeah.
You see, and I hate to speak highly of Robert De Niro, but there's a movie he was in called Ronin.
Oh yeah, I love that movie. Love that movie.
And I think that movie was filmed before he became a moron.
Well, before he was vocal about it, at least. But
Okay.
anyways, go ahead.
Amazing movie. And I remember they're all sitting around, and the guy's like, "Well, I'm the weapons guy. What do you need?"
Yeah. Sean Bean.
And he's like, "It's a toolbox. Put the tools in the toolbox. I'll use it."
Yep.
You know, and I'm like, "There you go." And he's like, "Well, you know, I'm a fan of 1911 myself," which then I'm like, "Fucking right you are." But people that, and I'm not categorizing myself as a shooter, but I shoot a lot. I take a lot of classes.
Yep.
I compete some. I do okay. There's a lot of people out there that are going through 1,000 rounds a year.
Yeah.
And they're like, I got to have this $2,800 dang defense, and it's got to have my carbine linked gas system with a titanium bushingless gas adjustable system, you know, and I got to have a free floated trigger pin and
free float trigger pin.
Right. And I mean, come on, man. And I'm looking at this, and I took a class. Oh fuck, I took a class, and this guy, you know, I had a Colt 6933 out there. It's the updated Colt Commando.
Okay.
But it's
what the fuck is that? No
frills, man. No frills, little SBR. It's the Colt Commando, but instead of it being the clamshell handguard, it's a free float aluminum handguard with M-lock.
Okay. Well, it looks like they did with pick rail too. Yeah. Okay.
It's a nice little rifle, but it's a no frills. You know,
right.
It's a no frills fighting rifle. It's a 6920 SBR. And you know, I mean, if you want to get real particular, the industry standard on ARs is still the 6920. Don't fucking argue with me. And so, you know, we were shooting the guns.
Argue.
And you know, this couple guys, man, they had some tricked out shit. They had some tricked out shit. You know, they were kind of. I did run an optic on it. I had a Meprolite M22, great optic, and guys was kind of, you know, looking down his nose at it. He goes, "Well, that's, you know, I mean, it's okay, but you don't have nickel boron plated
so what? Yeah, so fucking what?
You don't have the triple lock Magpul collapsible 9-position stock.
So what?
Right." And I'm like, okay, look, when you pull the charging handle on my rifle and the dust cover flips open, it says, "I'm a bad motherfucking stone cold hippo." You know, I'm like, yeah, you are. You know,
yeah, good for you, pal.
If you shot this year, I mean, it's your first class because you fucking suck. You should spent half that money on that rifle and spent all that on ammo and classes. Sorry.
That's why I hate, you know, regardless of the fact that I work for High Point, we did an AR. Regardless of that, I'm so sick of hearing guys have their tier list of the ARs of how much better this one is than that one. I'm like,
how do you know?
Exactly. Until you were actually truly run those guns on a legit, like, I hate saying torture test because torture tests are dumb too, but legit run the rifle the way it's built until it fails. You can't tell me one's any. Yes, sure, some can be more accurate natively than other ones, but don't tell me one is any more reliable than the other one because it's bullshit.
But because here's the thing, and I'm going to say this, Dave, and I believe this is gospel. I guarantee you right now, me never laid fucking neither one of my dick bitters on your High Point AR. It'll outshoot 90% of the people that's going to buy it.
Right.
And
absolutely.
Box stock out of it, they're not going to ever exploit the potential
No.
of that rifle.
No.
And that they may think they will.
Right.
And so I had that class at Green Ops, wonderful pistol class, and we were talking, and I had my Dan Wesson out there, and I was talking with one of these guys, a real shooter, better than me, I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
And he's like, and he complimented me. He goes, "That's a nice pistol. You took a class with Iron Sight 45. I hear you." Yada yada yada. We got to talk, and he goes, "Well, you ever shot Wilson? You ever shot Les?" But yes, I have. With Bill Wilson. Now, I was talking a little bit of shit about his 47D. Bill Wilson builds a magnificent pistol. Okay? If I just had money falling out of my ass, I'd have a fucking super grade on order, but I don't. But here's the thing, man. 99% of the people that shoot and shoot well could never exploit that super grade.
Right.
You got to be Jerry Mitchlick or Robbie Latham, or somebody that is in the top tier of their shooting to get that's like, I'm going to go buy this fucking Lamborghini Diablo, but
doesn't mean you can drive for shit.
Yeah, all the speed limit around my house is 40 miles an hour.
Right. So what are you gaining?
So what are you doing?
Flexing how much money you spent.
I got a badass Huracan or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
No. What are you apologizing for?
Well, I get around people, and I'm not trying to divide the gun industry, but I do a lot of high point reviews, and they are very well accepted most of the time. But I get some asshole in there. I'd never have that gun. It's unreliable.
Right.
How do you know?
Right.
My cousin's uncle's brother's waitress had one.
Dude, I've already seen comments of people complaining, saying, "I can't believe they're making an AR out of ZMAC," and it was like, "Oh my fucking god!" I'm like, really, like. ARs are built out of aluminum and steel. You think we do it any differently than anything else? It's like, whatever. People like haters like that. You just can't even engage with them. Like, there's no point.
And what I tell people, they're like, "Oh well, the high point is this or high point or whatever gun," And I try to preach this. We're a community.
Yeah.
The gun owners of the United States. We're a community. We're a family, and we all should be backing one another. Because the two biggest threats against firearms is politicians and rust.
Yeah.
So we need to, instead of getting in there and like, well, I've got to build Wilson super grade as my carry gun. I would never fathom, even going to a store looking at a high point.
Right.
Okay, fine. Shut the fuck up. Why are you trying to disparage old boy? He's a line cook at Waffle House and leaves at 3 a.m.
Because keyboard commandos, man. Like, it was like Patrick and I were talking even today about that. He was like, "Dylan, it's cool you guys doing these ARs." He was like, "Can you tell me where you're getting some parts from?" I was like, "No, not right now." He's like, "That's cool, whatever." And I was telling him some of the dumb shit's already been stated online. And he's like, "Oh my God." He goes, "People just like, they hear one internet like personality tell them this is how every gun should be of this type. And therefore they're going to complain when every gun isn't that type." And I was like, "Yep."
And they don't know.
We're already dealing with it. In fact, they have no clue.
Shit.
Clue.
John Trapp, 1911 tuner, a good friend of mine. One of his most famous sayings is, and I love this, and I use it all the time. They talk about 1911 is unreliable.
So stupid.
It's a machine. If it's built correctly, it's got to work. It don't have a choice.
Right.
It's when you start fucking with it. Oh, well, tolerance on the chamber is plus or minus 6,000. Nah, let's do plus or minus 2,000 to make it more accurate. And then in 50 rounds, it's going failure to return the battery, and they're sitting around there scratching their fucking forehead. Come on, man. Come on, John Brown and the shit together when he built that gun. The fucking plans are readily available everywhere.
I got to make sure I send you the link from when Tony posts it of the episode we did the NRA show, because we talk about you and we laugh at your expense a little bit on being 1911.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, he gives you praise of being a 1911 aficionado, but we still laugh about the whole like 2 world wars, And it's like, wait a minute, was the 1911 ever like massively adopted by any police agency? We're like, nope. But at the same time, that's intentionally to stir chaos with people that want to fight and argue about shit online because it's
if somebody doesn't like a 1911 for some reason or another, that's fine with me.
Right.
They're like, I don't like the ergonomics. I don't like the trigger. I don't,
Right.
Okay, fine.
It's not for everybody. We'll say that. It's not for everybody.
But when they spout off shit that they don't know nothing about. Yeah. You got to clean a 1911 every 100 rounds, or it ain't gonna shoot. It's a complicated manual of arms.
No, it's not.
It's no more or less than your fucking Glock or whatever.
But there's a kick right there. We have the internet gun community has grown in such a way where if it wasn't a Glock or an AR, they basically didn't know how to do anything with it.
Yeah. Now that that, my friend, is the wisest fucking thing I have heard in a while. Dave, bless your heart, you hit the nail on the head with a sledgehammer, brother.
I mean, but it's for real. If it wasn't a Glock or an AR, people were like, I don't know what to do with this thing. It's funny. I love the AR-15 as much as I love 1911s. Do I shoot ARs or 1911s as often? No, I don't. I kind of need to go back to it. That's probably why I want 2011 so bad, for more capacity. But whatever. But the AR, I really stepped away from the AR for a long time, just because I wanted to do something different, and I was so sick of everybody like, oh, the AR. I'm like, dude, if I hand you something else, are you gonna be all fucking thumbs?
That's the thing.
Well, a gun guy, man. Do you know how to pick up a G3 clone? Do you know how to run a fucking AK? Can you run an FAL, an M1A? Or are you just gonna go, what the shit? How do I use this thing?
I took a rifle class with Trace Armory Group.
Okay,
fantastic organization, and he does half day and whole day classes. And half day is 400 rounds, whole is like 6. Anyway, took a half day class, and it was rifle. It was fighting with your rifle from 0 to 25 yards.
Right.
It's a great class. Thoroughly enjoyed it. But at the end of the day, it was 6 or 8 of us, and most guys were running ARs, but not everybody. So what he did was he's like, everybody went and laid their rifle on the ground, unloaded, with a magazine beside it. And then you're standing, 3 feet behind your rifle. Then he mixes the whole firing line up.
Right.
And he's like, okay, when I come by and pat you, run 3 feet, pick up that man's rifle, load it, charge it. And he said, and he had us put like 10 rounds in the magazine or 15 rounds in the magazine. He's like, I need you to do 15 rounds, empty the mag, drop it. Then I'm going to hand you another mag with an unknown number of rounds in it. Right. And he's like, first mag, headshots, second mag, body shots. And so, and you didn't know, he didn't say shift over one. You're just sitting there and he just mixes you all up. And then you're standing in front of who knows what. And you know what, man? There were some non-ARs out there, and there were some guys that kind of fumbled around.
Yeah. And,
that's no fault of their own, but that goes to what you're saying, Dave. You're a genius.
I mean, it's kind of been I don't say it's a mantra, but I'm like, if you say you're a gun guy, then be a gun guy. I'm not saying be an expert. I'm not an expert on rollerblade guns, but I'm comfortable knowing that if I pick up, I have an MP5, so therefore if I grab a G3, difference is you got to rock and lock the magazine almost, not just straight in. So it's a little more AK-ish in that sense. Yeah. But even that from AKs to G3s to M1As, yeah, they're all kind of rock and lock, but they're all different. Mini 14, they're still all different. You know what I mean? Be comfortable that you can figure it out in, we'll say, a half second. It shouldn't be that long, But same thing, man. I took a class where all of it was ARs, but I ran my ACR, which is still AR controls at the fire control hand, but your charging handle's forward like an HK style, which I love. But then a guy next to me, he was running AK, and we did the same thing. We had to pass all of our guns around, to each other. And it was funny to watch people get a little weirded out when they had the ACR or the AK. And it was like, guys, it's not that different. But the instructor then threw in a Mini 14. And again, me and the AK guy were like, oh, fuck yeah, cool, Mini. Like, these things are fun, man. And other guys were just like, "How do you change that magazine?" I'm like, "Dude, it's a gun. You should know how to change it. It's a gun." Like,
And it ain't like the Mini 14 is an obscure rifle.
right.
Yeah.
In AR world, it is.
And so we got done with the class, and the instructor was like, people question, well, you know, why are you mixing this up? Why have I got to run hunters, what have you? And he goes, look, a battlefield pickup. Right. No, we're not in the military. No, we're not law enforcement. But if something happened,
right, and you got to pick it up,
you at least should know how to load and unload.
Yeah.
What's popular?
Well, I think that's why I was really enjoying. My buddy at Pioneer gave me several of his AKs, and the last thing he gave me was the 5.56 rifle, and that got me back to shooting rifles from SBRs. And I was like, man, 16-inch rifles are not long. Like, you get spoiled with like shorties, and it's like, but then they're loud, and it's like, this rifle kicks ass, you know. And I ran that AK fucking hard to the point where I could keep up with friends that were doing. We'd like do like a one reload one, you know. Them with the AR, me with the AK, I could keep up with them and occasionally beat them. Not gonna lie, if I beat them, it's probably because they had a feed malfunction or something. But you know, it didn't take long to train with an AK one off to do it almost as fast as an AR. You know, and it's completely different.
You know, I'm an AR.
It's not hard.
I love ARs too myself. You're not gonna believe this. You know what I keep beside my bed?
What, that Century you got years ago?
I got a Century Arms RAS 45.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
That's awesome.
And I've got and it's loaded.
Right.
And I've got about 6 P mags in there with 28 rounds and my little, you know, and here's the thing. If something happens to that rifle, I did a photo shoot for Century Arms, and I shot all the photos for the RAS 47s. I think that's and they used them at shot. This was forever ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
Used the rifle, and they're like, "Hey, what do we owe you for the photos?" And I'm like, and that's when I was doing a lot with Century. I was like, you know what? You want to just trade me the rifle? And they wound up sending me like a bunch of cleaning kits. They sent me anyway, that's irrelevant.
No, that's cool.
But it's a great rifle. It's 1,000% reliable. And
now if you ask keyboard commandos.
Yeah, and that's so, you know, and that gets me on the point where they're like, well, Century Arms this and Century Arms that. And so, you know, I went and talked to Andrew about it, and I went to talk to Tom Bellevue about it. And they're like, well, their trunnions are made of cast. And Tom Bellevue's like, parts have specs of hardness.
Right.
From the engineer. So the technology to create that part, if it's made of forgings, castings, if it's made of fucking down feathers, if it can pass the hardness test,
right, it's
dimensionally correct, it's going to work.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what technology was used to create the part. If the part matches the engineer specs, it's a machine that's going to work. It can't help but to.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, oh, that. And I would hate to get, you know, I took that thing, I threw it in the fucking mud a bunch, and I've shot the pistol, and I've never cleaned it. My buddy Red Rick come over, and he wanted to shoot it. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I'll give him like 20 rounds. And he pulled the trigger, boom, and it was loud. And he come and looked at me, and his face was covered in fucking dirt. And he's like, when's the last time you cleaned this rifle?
Never.
Nah, I ain't never cleaned it. Anyway, but you know, it's old reliable. And if something happened to it, I'm not out of cold.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
I know. Yeah. No. That's back to this point. Is just be more well-rounded with the firearms. If you say you're a firearm guy, be more well-rounded. You know, I'm not telling you if you buy only ARs. I'm not telling you to go buy something that's not an AR. I'm just saying if you see somebody run something different, ask to shoot it. Or if you got friends different shit, try running it. You know, you might actually like something different.
That shit all over High Point.
Oh yeah.
So they come and jump into one of my videos, and run a high point. They're like, man,
Let's get this thing fun.
but damn if it don't run.
I kind of snapped at one guy when he made a comment about the carbines being so ugly, and I was like, dude, get out of here with that shit. I'm so sick of hearing it. And he's like, what?
Carbines are not unattractive.
But that's the thing I said. I was like, what is it that makes it ugly versus attractive? I was like, is it because you're so fixated on everything being an AR-15? I was like, because if it's not an AR, then what? It's ugly looking? I was like, dude. And he just looked at me and was like, man, I never thought of it like that. I said, I'm not trying to be an ass, man. I was like, it just gets old and people go, yeah, they're straight up uglier than shit, but man, they shoot. I'm like, what is so ugly about the carbine? No, I'll say the old handguns being all round and bulbous. Sure.
That C9, oof.
Nah, they're not attractive. No, but I think the YC9 and the Gen 2 they look good.
That's more good.
They're still big, but they look good though.
Oh, I would say that when y'all went to the YC9 over the C9, that was leaps and bounds.
Absolutely.
Only in aesthetics.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, here's the thing.
Still the same thing. I mean,
it don't shoot no better.
No, it shoots great just like it did before.
Right. But aesthetically, it's far more pleasing.
Yeah.
It's got a good barrel, which is a huge plus.
Right.
The carbines are not unattractive at all. Now, you know, you see somebody that'll stick a scope with a light and a bipod, and a light.
Well, I think at that point we're getting to the ignorant internet people, you know,
right.
or the memers, either one.
Generally speaking, well, you know, I mean, here's the thing, and I think you and I've talked about this before. Now, I live in a pretty good neighborhood, but there has been some break-ins, and so I talked to my mom. Now, my mom, I love her. She carries a Python. She got a Colt Python, little 4 1/4, carries it with her everywhere. It's great. It's a handful. It's a handful for her. And I'm like, Mom, you touch that so much off in the house, and God knows if somebody kicked my mama's front door in, let me tell you something. If you kick my mama's front door in, I'm here to tell you, as sure as the world, she is going to motherfucking shoot you. I know this for confident. But I'm like, Mom, so we were out. You had sent me some fucking high point carbine in 9mm to review.
Right.
And for the 13th time, she was out there shooting a high point carbine in 9mm. And I had her some 115 grain full metal jackets. And she shot a mag. She goes, can I shoot another mag? And I'm like, Dave sent me like 4 mags. Yeah, they're loaded. Here, Mom.
Right. Go for it.
You know, she shot 4 or 5 mags, and she's like, you know, I really like this. I'm like, well, I'll tell you what, Mom. It ain't my gun. I said, but come on to the house. I'm going to transfer it to you right now. Whatever Dave wants for it, I'm going to pay for it. And you know what? That summit right now, I give her like 3 mags. She's got a mag loaded with a round in it, safety on, muzzle pointed toward the deck. And then she's got 2, and they're 115 grain jacket of hollow points from Defender.
Right.
And she got 2 more magazines on her nightstand, full with 115 grain jacket of hollow points from Defender. And I said, Mom, this is a way better setup for home defense for you.
Right.
Than a revolver.
Ooh. Didn't mean to do that just yet. Oh.
Is that a picture of what shotgun is that?
My 1301 Beretta, my Langdon Tactical.
It is a Beretta.
Did I tell you? Well, I showed you how I 3D printed the look at the belt line, the Mag Caddy.
Yes.
On Mag Caddy. Yeah, because we haven't done this a couple weeks. So I don't think I even got a chance to talk to you about this. Yeah, like I said, I'm really fixated on now. I really want to take a shotgun class because, you know, I've shot sporting clays, I've shot, you know, trap, you know, I've shot some skeet, you know.
I think I've taken 2 fighting shotgun classes.
Right.
One of them I took was very basic, like how to load a shotgun.
Oh God.
You know, I mean, and I would love to take another shotgun class.
That's what I really want to do as well. But it was funny. It was like, I understand, like in a shotgun class, they probably don't want you running like a 3D. Well, not 3D print. They don't want you running like a 3-gun, you know, Mag Caddy. I get that. I just want to run it for the fun of it. And I tell you what, man, it was pretty damn easy and pretty seamless to run it like this. Now, granted, I'm going off the sense of going 3-gun style. I'm breaking my control grip and grabbing those rounds and shucking them in. But dude, it took no time to get that down. I mean, it felt awesome. And what you'll probably enjoy more than this, well, I'm running my Langdon Tactical 1301. My buddy had a 1301 Gen 1 that he brought with him. And my son decided to come out. And last time he shot any kind of, sporting clays is with my 870-20 gauge, which was a bit hard for him to run the pump. But he was intent on coming out this time. I don't have any photos on here. I got some video on my phone that I'll send to you of him running the 20 gauge 870 like he was just like the owner of the damn thing. He would just run the shit out of it, just pumping away.
He's 12?
He's 12.
That boy right, ain't you?
Dude, his first run shooting it was hilarious. He would shoot it, and he'd come up like this, come vertical with the gun, and pump it back in the shoulder, shoot it, bring back up, pump it, until it was empty. And I was like, hey, Doom guy, I get it, like you're breaking off, like you're seeing it, and you're pumping it, and it looks cool as shit. I was like, but really, man? Leave it in your shoulder, and you can run it just as well and be back on target faster. And he was like, okay. And just plow, 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 plow. Just
good for him.
Had a blast with that 20 gauge.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. But now then I've got that my KSG back. He's kind of wanting to like shoot that one. I'm like, dude, this is 12 gauge. I'm like, granted, the KSG, the weight of the KSG, it's not light, because you have the dual tubes. It's probably the softest shooting pump 12 I've ever shot. So if he wants to try some bird shot and maybe some buckshot with it, I'll let him try it.
Why don't you ease him into go get some of them little mini shells?
Well, that's not a bad idea.
Right.
Have some that matter.
I mean, mini shells. I stumbled upon mini shells a while back. My home defense shotgun is a Winchester Model 1300 12 gauge Defender, but I did a +2 magazine tube extension, so it holds 9 rounds. And I've got they made a 1300 Ranger. Okay. And the barrel had a front and rear sights for slugs.
Okay.
And I bought a 1300 Ranger, and it came with 2 barrels. And I bought it solely for the 18-inch barrel with sights, and I swapped it on my Defender. And it holds 16 mini shells, 17 mini shells.
Right.
And then in my caddies, I've got, standard 12 gauge. You get an optic on that?
Yeah, when you're done, I was going to talk about that.
Oh, I'm done. Let's talk about that optic on the shot.
So obviously, like you saw, I've got iron sights on it. Just shut up. So
I didn't say nothing.
So the guys at Swamp Fox sent me this optic. This is their Justice 2. It's like their big window optic, which, again, talking to you, so it's like FUD. It's awesome. It's a blast. The coating is iron sights, so if the dot dies, my irons are still there. I can still use them.
Yeah.
But it was funny. I went over to Langdon Tactical's booth at NRA show, just looking at some other stuff, and picked up a shotgun that was built up pretty much just like mine. And they had a Trijicon RMR. And when I picked up the shoulder and looked through it, I was kind of like, damn, why is this window so damn small? I was like, oh, shit, because it's an RMR. And I've got like a competition size dot where like RMR is like this thing's like that. And I was like, man, how spoiling, or how easy is it to spoil yourself doing shit like that with a bigger dot? Yeah, does it seem more fragile? Probably, but damn, it's nice. It is damn nice.
It's a good looking setup, except for that optic.
Oh, God.
The rear sight, like literally, I can see the rear sight.
Yeah, and I can use both.
Yeah, but why?
See that?
Oh, it's got whoa. Zoom in on the muzzle.
On the muzzle?
Yeah, right there. It's got a front sight on it, too.
Yeah, so it says it's got iron sights, man.
I know, I'm just being a dick.
Dipshit. God.
Fuck you fucking mook.
Nobody likes you.
You like me.
Most days.
You don't, I'll come beat that ass.
There you go. My other shotgun, my other semi-auto.
That's another Beretta.
No, that's a Turcanelli.
That's a
Benelli Benelli clone.
because it's got the little 3 fins there where you can't load the mag tube all the way, right?
Which, yeah, you know what? Like, I could change it out and put the mag tube in, but honestly, aesthetically, I like that. I think it looks cool. I don't give a shit. I think it looks cool. Fuck it.
I hear you.
And besides, I have a 1301 as well. So this is this is a shot my wife took.
Look at her, she's coming around.
Right, and then the shots my kid did.
Go back. You know what? I'm not critiquing your photography. You know what would make that?
You are.
You know what would make that infinitely better?
What's that?
If you cloned out those 4 fucking yellow flowers.
Those are claybirds.
Clone them and make them dirt. Because as soon as you throw that up there, I'm like,
that's what grabbed your attention was those. You're
yeah. Yeah, clone that shit out. Look at you, man. If I was as cool as you, I wouldn't know what to do.
You wouldn't, man. It's rough being me sometimes.
Is it?
No, it's great.
Shit, we could talk about
it's fucking great.
You know how I knew you were gay?
Oh God!
First time I kissed you, you giggled.
Yeah, that never happened.
Yeah. For the 9 people listening.
Yeah, right.
It happened.
Nope, it never happened.
It was SHOT Show 2002. We were standing below.
Wasn't there.
And I remember Dave said, "You know what?
For SHOT Show."
It was Treasure Island. You were the treasure at Treasure Island.
My God, stop talking to that. I'm gonna go now.
Wow, how easily you are offended. Did you fall into the millennial birth year?
No, I'm the end of Gen X.
Are you? Are you sure?
Which is great because now I've given my wife, who technically is a millennial, she has very much Gen X tendencies, probably because of me, and she admits that too.
When was she born?
85.
When does Gen X cut off?
80.
So she's 5 years into millennial.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like her. Dude, under no circumstances do you tell her I said that. She's an angel.
Oh, no, you done already fucked up, pal.
Dude, she ain't going to buy that shit. Every time I've seen her, I've been sweet to her. So don't even fucking try it.
Well, you didn't come to the NRA show, did you?
Well, it won't because of that.
No. Oh, speaking of that, it's Houston next. Hey, shut up. Listen to me. It's Houston next year, which, okay, it's fine. City-wise, it's better than Atlanta.
Safer.
Yeah, so 26, it's in Houston. Then 27, ready for this? Back in Atlanta.
All right.
So,
well,
mark the calendar.
Wonder. You did mention something about a shotgun class.
Yes, I very much so want to do a shotgun class.
We talked about that a couple times.
Yeah.
Now, I could probably get my buddy that runs Trace Armory Group to put one on, but it's probably going to be a day class.
Well, that's fine, and we can talk about this another time. Like work out details like off camera, because I know I definitely would be interested in Paul Markle's class, his Marshall shotgun application class. That's well, he's in Idaho, but I know he does come to tactical response in Camden, Tennessee. So, and he said he needs 6 people as his minimum. I think I could probably fill that pretty easily, you being one of them as well.
I know for confident I can get Chad to come.
Okay, well, so my thoughts are I either love to do one of Paul's classes, or even do tactical response as a shotgun class as well.
All right.
On top of, I think I've seen the Green Ops. I think they have a shotgun class also.
Green Ops does.
So no, we've got options.
Their classes are fucking cruel, man. Like, I mean,
dude, I hate to break it to you. You told me about their class, that Green Ops class, how much it beat your old ass up.
Yeah.
I think so would Student of the Guns class, and so will Tactical Responses class.
My fucking ass. They made me run. I had to kneel. I had to jump on the ground.
Yeah.
I said,
That's everybody else is going to do too, man.
like, well, why am I running? I can hit that motherfucker from 80 yards with this 1911 without sight.
Well, the flip side is, like, we had a guy in our class in Marshall's Marshall application of the pistol. He couldn't. We were like laying down our backs and shooting, like leaning forward and shooting.
Yeah, that's when you talk about your med kit.
Yeah,
busted your butt hymen.
Yeah, which I've corrected. Now it's no longer there.
But
we had a guy in our class. He was like, I can't do that. I can't get down. He goes, I won't be able to get back up. And they were like, okay, then don't do it. Just stand there and shoot then. And he was like, all right. So, I mean, that's because they're real instructors, man. They know, like, if you physically can't do something, they're going to make you do it.
See, you know, and that's cool. That's the way it was in the Marine Corps. Like, yeah, when we were training, they're like, assault that fucking wall. I'm like, I can't do it. And he's like, then I want you to think about it. Like, aggressively assault that wall in your mind. Hunter, we're going to hunt 18 miles today. I'm like, I can't do it.
Yeah, you're completely full of shit. Maybe the Marine Corps now. God, I hope not.
They're like, well, just lay in your rack while we hump and you think about
it.
Aggressive. Yeah, no, I'm making
I know. No, there's enough physically broken ass people. They come take firearm classes. I'm glad they're doing it. And if they can't physically do something, you ain't gonna fucking do it because you ain't gonna hurt yourself more.
That's the people that need, and I don't want to sound wrong. You know, I'm 51 years old. I'm in pretty decent shape. I cut trees for I cut trees for a living. You know, and if something bad peeled off, physically I could probably handle myself pretty decent.
Yeah.
You know, no, I ain't gonna fuck with Chuck Norris.
No.
You understand? But the average Yahoo that's gonna fucking want to, you know, roll around on the fucking ground, I feel like I could probably hold my own.
Yep.
Retrospectively speaking, I've done pretty well for myself. But people that are maybe disabled or they've got a lot of trouble, they've got arthritis, you know, those are the people more so than anybody that needs to have handgun proficiency.
Absolutely.
Or firearm proficiency in general, because
absolutely,
they're not the ones that's going to be able to, you know, somebody comes up and fucking pushes you.
Right.
And gets in your face. They are absolutely not the ones that's going to be able to stand there and be able to at least pose some sort of challenge.
Right.
Maybe that comes off weird, but.
No, I get what you mean by that. I mean,
no.
Yes, they should be proficient. Like, still within their physical limitations, they should be, you know, proficient with their guns. Absolutely.
We all should. And, you know, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
And I did a little podcast. Little shoot, kitty.
Hey, Hunter, focus.
Hold on.
Focus.
Kitty. No, I just want to, dude, she's been in rough shape. I was like, fuck it, did she just die?
Oh, Jesus.
But no, she's all right. Every morning I get up, I'm preparing myself. She's like 16 or 17.
Oh, that's old.
She's been diabetic for 6, 7, 8 years now.
Damn.
And the past year, she's been sundowning. Like she'll walk into the room and just stand there, or she'll walk up there 6 inches from the wall and look at it. I mean, she eats, drinks, pees, and poops. She's been at a vet.
Fuck, man, 16 years old cat. That's like 90-year-old human being. I mean,
right. So I prepare myself often.
Right.
And I looked over, and she's laid out. She's just laid out. But when I called her name, she's like, fucking, I completely forgot what I was going to talk about.
You said you were asking me a question about something. I don't remember what the hell it was about.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
God.
And this is kind of a trick question, but not really.
Okay.
Do you believe that you should have to have a permit to carry concealed?
No.
Okay, so I'm in agreement with you. Now, here's my addendum to that.
Sure, go for it.
I do not think you should have to have a permit to buy a gun or carry a gun or carry a gun concealed.
Correct.
However, there are a lot of nuances in the laws of deadly force.
Yes.
And so I tell people, no, I don't think you should have to have a permit to carry a gun or carry concealed or whatever. I think anybody that wants to do it should be able to do it. However, I would recommend if you're going to carry concealed, you should take some sort of class to teach you when and where and when not you can use deadly force.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense.
And I'm not
because listen to this. So we passed a couple years ago in Ohio. We passed constitutional carry.
Oh man, we're so close to North
Carolina. So excuse me. So yeah, it passed here, and I was like, screw it. I'm not renewing my concealed carry license. Why pay $50 when I'm covered by my state law? Well, there's a nice side that's dealer friendly. If you have a concealed carry license, you hand it to them, they can write your info down, and they don't have to call in your 4473.
Right.
No offense to the dealer. I don't give a shit. That's not my problem. That's their problem.
Right.
So it's like, I'm probably not.
I'm this down.
Well, but okay, but Jesus, I've never ran into that. But I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do it. And my couple friends were like, yeah, but dude, this state says they don't recognize Ohio because of that. And I was like, I don't care. If I get into a concealed carry self-defense shooting situation, not having a license or reciprocity in a state is the least of my worries. That'd be like the first shit's thrown out. But now, all that being said, I asked a lawyer friend of mine who's a gun lawyer too about it. And God love him, dude. I asked him just as a real quick texted question, and he replied via text with like a whole damn dissertation on the positives of why you should have the license and to still get it. And because of that, dude, before I left for NRA show, I called my sheriff's office and I was like, yo, I fucked up. My license expired like a year ago. I was like, what do I got to do? And the old guy was cool as shit. He was just like, hey, go to our site, you fill out the form, print it off, you go back, go down the bottom, click an appointment time, and you show up here and bring me $50. And I was like, done, deal. Like, and did it. But, and not because there's a lawyer, because there's a lawyer that's a friend. That he was like, have that license. It does make things easier in the case of getting into a shooting. And I was like, yeah, enough. I'll take it. I'm done. I will.
When I used to teach intro to handgun and some handgun defensive classes with my buddy Roger Pettit. He's passed his art. He's amazing instructor, awesome guy. Was a Marine, got fucking hurt real bad, shot up in Grenada, and that was the beginning of his health problems. And then the VA just fucked him. He got the green weenie, and he died. But one of the best pieces of advice he ever gave me, and he would tell this in all his classes, is when you go take a class, take some photos of you there and get a cert and have it. And he goes, God forbid, if you're ever in a shooting, something happens and you've got to defend yourself in your shooting. You can say, but look, Judge, not only did I take the class and get my concealed carry permit, but I trained.
Right.
And I didn't train as Rambo. I'm not trying to go out. But, I'm honing my marksman. And I did this solely in the event something bad happened. God forbid. I wanted to be as physically proficient as I could be in order to not only protect myself, but my friends and my family and surrounding people. And he said, if you ever gotten into a shooting and you can show, well, I've been to this class and this class, and I've taken
it's about stacking your deck.
That's stacking your deck. They're going to go, okay, he takes this very seriously.
Yeah, he's not fooling around. He's not some Yahoo. Well, it's funny because you know what? I've taken enough training classes and got enough certs from them and never thought anything about their paper cert because it's like, what does that really mean? But at the same time, every one of those classes have said, if you get into a shooting and you need someone on your side on the stand, call me. Every instructor I've ever had. And now it's like, oh, shit, that makes sense. That's why the cert's there for, too. So hopefully the cert means I don't have to call them because this shows that I take this shit seriously.
And you know what, man? When I took that Green Ops class, they made a big deal about it. They made a real big deal about it. And in so much as we shot the FBI course.
Right. Are you saying that?
And he said, and I think there were a dozen of us, maybe.
Right.
And I'm going to say 8 of us qualified. And he's like, God forbid something ever happened. However, if it did, not only do you have a cert that you complete the class, but if you call me, I can go on the stand and say, yes, I'm an instructor for Green Ops, and I administer the FBI standard exam for proficiency to whomever, and they passed it. And when we shot, they wrote our score on the targets and took photos of it.
Nice.
So, and I scored I was down, it was 50 rounds. I think I was down 4. So I scored a 92.
Nice.
Which was not the high watermark of the class, oddly enough.
Right.
But still, I was pretty proud.
No, that's cool.
And but
you got my mind thinking. I have no idea where all my certs are at. I have no idea.
Man, I had like 4 hanging on my refrigerator, and I think Candy chunked them. But here's the thing: I feel like if something ever happened, and you can list out, look, I've taken classes with here, and here. You can list them out, and I've got photos of me in all these classes,
right?
So I can easily prove that I was there. So I don't know, man. The last thing I would ever want to do in my life, my God, is have to shoot somebody.
No, dude, right? Like, seriously.
I mean, regardless of the legal ramifications, which would be great, having to, now, not to put too fine of a point on it, but if somebody's like, okay, it's me or you, then I'm going to choose you. I'm going to defend myself, and in the heat of the moment, if they're like, whatever happens, and you have to defend yourself because they're going to kill you, then I feel like I could competently do that.
Yeah,
but you got to live, Dave. You got to live with you killed somebody.
Right, you ended some other human being's life. That's life altering to your own life,
Right. Fuck all the legal shit.
Right.
Yeah,
right. None of that shit matters.
Right, but stack that against you had to end a human being's life.
Yeah.
Regardless of what kind of piece of shit scumbag they are.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
They still had a mama.
Did that shit.
They still had a daddy. And so you got to live with that the rest of your life, even if you're never charged and everything is fine.
Yeah. That's still going to haunt you. Yeah, it's still going to haunt you no matter what.
You got to lay down in bed and close your eyes and be like,
I mean, well, you and I both heard and listened to other people like they've been in close contact situations like that where like they say yes, they can see that person's face every fucking day of their life.
You got to live with that, and so I'm Baptist. I would hate to ever have to do it. I would. I feel like I would. I wouldn't want to. If somebody's going to hurt me or my mama or Candy, then, I feel like I could do what was called for in the moment. But I feel like the aftermath, and when I say aftermath, I ain't talking about the blue lights and the court, because all that.
You're talking about you psychologically dealing with it.
Psychologically, you're like, damn, I had to kill that guy.
Right.
That was going to kill me, but I know for confident it would still tear me up inside.
Yeah.
But with that said, I'd rather be tore up inside and not dead, not fucking raped or killed or I mean, it's a no-win.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to get super deep on that, but it's a Kobayashi Maru, baby.
It is a Kobayashi Maru.
Fucked.
And if you don't know Kobayashi Maru is, people look at shit up. Watch some Star Trek.
Fucking Star Trek.
So we'll close out like this then, because we're like an hour and 40 at this point.
Man.
Training people. Go. No, shut up. Stop apologizing. Damn. What are you, a millennial? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm trying to consider it, you fucking move.
Just consider it. This is our damn thing. Considerations. So, in the end, go get training, people, because we're going to do more training. We're going to keep training. Go get some training.
Find motor skill. It's perishable.
And if you're not sure where to go to get training, honestly, if you find an instructor, email them, ask them. In fact, you want to go in further, hit up Hunter and I. We've done a bunch of training. We'll tell you. I mean, tell you guys that we trust.
This is Hunter at Ramshot.com.
Well, I said that next thing is then Hunter, where people find you at, man.
Oh, rangehot.com, man. We cranked up a new Facebook page. Yeah. Range Hot, we do gun reviews. So if you're interested in some really, really poor worded, shitty photography,
yeah, right.
We're folding it in AI generated reviews. Range Hot is where you need to be. It is the bottom of the barrel.
I said, if you want to find me, you can go to livefire-media.com. I've got my links to my socials there too, because I'm not going to read them all off because I don't care. You don't care. And go to one place to find them all. It's so annoying to find crap when you're shadow banned anyways. So, yeah. All right, man. Till next time.
Dave, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Peace, brother.